Hi, and thanks for joining us. Jason Kingston here from Cube Thinking, alongside John Woodruff from Cube Thinking also. And on this particular one, we're going to talk about who are your strategic partners. At this challenging time, and it is a challenging time, your strategic partners may not be who you originally thought they may be. Who would you normally see as your critical strategic partners?
So a lot of people would consider your supply chain as being critical, which they are, and communication with your supply chain is very important. Yeah. And last week I was talking to a client of mine, and they were saying that they'd just accepted that everything that they'd ordered was going to come in on time. Yeah. And one of the items for a big order, when they chased it through, it was from China. Yeah. And they're not even communicated because the factory had been closed, and all of a sudden critical part for a big order now is not going to be received. So the supply chain is really important. So I would say one of the things that people should be looking at is talking to all of your suppliers. Think about who those critical suppliers are. Some of the items are going to be next day or next week, but the ones that are more on the long lead items, the high value maybe, then those are the ones where people should be contacting the suppliers and just ensuring that there's going to be that consistency.
I think you pick up on a good point though. So we've had a few calls today to part of surgery, and where you may assume that people are in contact with their strategic suppliers, sometimes they are not, and it may not cross their mind. So it may not cross their mind to actually check on your supply chain of materials into yourself and who you're supplying to and delivering to. The strategic partners in that particular case may be logistics companies. Mm-hmm. It might be the hubs which will be receiving materials if they're providing these things onto you. That supply chain, that list of strategic partners in that situation won't be as strong as the weakest one in that part there. So I think it's just being aware of that, being able to look upstream and downstream, and considering every person who's within there. I think the wider,
so it's like it's understanding it's potentially looking at what the weakest link is.
Exactly.
And if you consider, thinking about the weakest link in the whole of your processes, then that's an area that should be looking directly into. I mean, some of the areas as well that are strategic are your own accountants, because they're probably an area that you could have a conversation with, who actually can probably give you a heck of a lot more information than you're aware of. They will have their ears to the ground, they'll have an understanding of what opportunities there are. They will be talking to other clients, other people, and they'll get a better idea about what's going on within the industry and what help and advice and what actions other companies are doing to help out. Another thing as well, which people forget about, is they might have coaches and mentors, and probably feel as though due to the economic climate and the fact that no one's doing any face-to-face meetings, they might think that they want to cancel them. Now, fine, cancel the face-to-face meetings, but you're better off having one video conference every week, maybe now, as opposed to one meeting every month as a face-to-face. And then the other thing that is important as well is actually look at your strategic partners. One of your biggest strategic partners currently is your employees.
Exactly.
So
it's looking at the assets in a different way, and looking at who's going to get you through this. And your employees will be your biggest assets at this time. Protect them, but also just to make sure that they are being listened to. They are human beings. They are people in communities. They may also have a better idea of what your customer experience should be. They have a better idea of what the waves of change are. They have a lot more eyes and ears than just your senior team very often. So they are a key strategic partner, and equally as a strategic partner, they should be looked after too. We should be making sure that they are protected. We should also be making sure that they are taken care of.
So our strategic partners there are, the health and the well-being of those employees. Probably thinking about some of the guidelines that you need to set down about, break activities, using the canteen, because what you can't afford is that spread of the virus within the group, and I think potentially splitting the workforce into 1, 2 or 3 shifts, and keep down to a bare minimum, then it's over a short period of time. But rather only lose one shift and have two left, as opposed to only have one shift and lose the whole lot.
And I think that's the key thing. If you look at that, what I describe as a 360-degree approach that we're taking in that conversation is, if you can cellularise that, is break up into manageable chunks who your strategic partners are, and see if they are operating in that particular way too, it ensures that between us all, the strategic partners, we're keeping the lights on. And I think that's applicable to anybody who's a strategic partner, even through to your accountants, to your advisors and anybody else. Checking with them, what are they doing to make sure that they're keeping the lights on too for their elements.
So what we're looking at today, and when we're talking to a lot of companies, is people want to help people.
Exactly.
Companies want to help companies. So if you are in a position where you feel that you're under threat, then reach out and talk to these strategic partners, talk to your supply chain, try and find out what other companies are doing. People are offering advice. So I think a lesson learned today is think about who your strategic partners are. It can be anyone from your suppliers, it can be solicitors, accountants, your coaches, your mentors, it can be finance, it could even be potentially your competition. And the idea there is, let's reach out to them, let's talk to them, let's lessons learned, let's share best practices, and eventually, hopefully, pull through. Thank you.
Thank you very much.